Hey there, how's it going? It is your muscle building coach, Lee Hayward, and in today's video I'm going to discuss wrist wraps and how you can use them to support your wrists and the different ways that you can use them depending on the exercises you're doing. Now, what I have here is a set of powerlifting wrist wraps. So if you are going to use wrist wraps, I would recommend getting a set of heavy-duty powerlifting wraps. Don't go to the drugstore or the department store and pick up those little flimsy ace bandage type wraps because first off, they're generally way too short and they're flimsy. They don't offer a lot of support. So if you want some decent wrist wraps, go online and search for powerlifting wrist wraps. These ones happen to be Inzer, but there are a lot of different companies that make them. When it comes to wrapping your wrists, it really depends on the exercise and the purpose of the wrap. Some people like to just have a light support of the wrists for whatever reason. Maybe it's just you have some aches and pains in the joints. It could be, arthritis. It could be any number of things. In my case, I wear wrist wraps because I have a mild case of carpal tunnel syndrome. And by wrapping the wrist, it actually helps to support the carpal tunnel and it avoids the swelling and the inflammation, which in turn pinches off the nerves in the fingers. So by wearing a wrist wrap during my workouts, it helps to keep the carpal tunnel under control. So for that, what I'll do is I'll just wrap my wrists right around the top of the wrist below the base of the hand here. And it's just going to be a mild support, a mild wrap. So I'm not going to wrap it super tight. It's just going to provide a light support that is very comfortable. I don't want to pinch off circulation to my hands or anything like that. I don't want to hinder mobility or movement. So it's just light support around the top of the wrist like so. And this is something that you can wear for the duration of your workout. And you can use it for the majority of your exercises. Be it pulling exercises, pressing exercises, whatever you're doing, this is a very comfortable wrap for light support. Another way that you can wrap your wrists is to support your hand when doing heavy pressing exercises. Now, a lot of people do this when bench pressing because one of the problems when you're bench pressing is your hand can sometimes bend backwards. And when that happens, not only is it painful on the wrist, but it also minimizes the force that you can generate. Because if your hand bends back, then all of a sudden you don't have a straight alignment between your forearm and your hand and thus the barbell in your hand. So one of the ways that powerlifters will wrap the wrists in that case is wrapping higher on the hand. So instead of starting at the top of the wrist, they'll actually start like halfway up the hand, just below the knuckles there, and wrap around like so. Now, the wraps that I'm using here are actually fairly short. You can get longer wrist wraps that are specific for this, specific for wrapping your hands for bench pressing. And you can see you can start high on the hand and actually wrap down. And it's almost like placing your hand in a cast of a sort, where your wrist is going to remain in that upright position, the barbell is going to be in your hands, and you'll be able to have that straight line right from your elbow all the way to your wrist, and it'll really help you to drive with full force into the barbell without your hand arching back and injuring your wrist, and of course taking away some strength from your lift. So that's how you can wrap it for bench presses, heavy overhead presses. That's a great way to do it. Now there's another variation of wrapping your wrists that you can use. It's very similar to the first one that I showed, but it's specific for increasing your grip strength. And a lot of powerlifters will use this when doing max effort deadlifts. And how it goes is you will wrap your wrist at the base of your wrist, the top of the wrist I should say, just like I was showing before, but you'll make a fist, clench your fist really tight and wrap the wrist wrap very snug. So you want a lot of tension in the wrap while keeping your fist clenched tight. And what you'll find is this actually helps to force your hand closed. And I can actually feel the tension in my fingers right now. It's almost like they don't want to open because when I clench my fist tight, wrap the wrap really tight, it's holding the tendons and ligaments that are actually helping to force my hand to stay closed. So this can aid in grip when you're doing like a heavy deadlift or something like that, and you want that tension in your hands. So this is a good solution for that. The only drawback is it's a temporary wrap. You would only do it for the duration of the lift. Then you would have to remove the wrap in order to let blood flow and circulation go back to your hands. Because obviously if you put the wrap on really tight and leave it for any length of time, I mean, your hands are going to go numb because they're not getting proper blood flow and circulation. So that's the 3 basic ways that you can use wrist wraps. If you want, give those wrapping tips a try, and if you have any questions, comments, or feedback about this video, please feel free to post those down in the comment section below, and stay tuned for my next video coming soon. Take care, over and out.